Tonight, I'll be your guide as we wander slowly, gently, into the quiet and forgotten world of ancient Sumer, a place nestled along the first rivers of civilization, where the earliest cities were not loud or chaotic, but woven gently into the rhythms of the earth. You don't need to remember anything tonight. You don't need to worry about time. Just listen softly, breathe slowly, and let your thoughts float like small reed boats down the calm waters of the Euphrates and the Tigris, back to where it all began. Part 1, the river cradle. The sun rises slowly over the southern plains of ancient Mesopotamia, golden light brushing the reeds along the riverbanks. The air is warm but not harsh. The winds carry the scent of river clay and distant cooking fires. This is the land between the rivers, Sumer. The world here is not ruled by kings yet, but by the seasons, the floodwaters, and the stars. Life begins each morning with the flow of the rivers, quiet and constant. Farmers walk barefoot through the cool irrigation channels, adjusting the water with simple tools carved from tamarisk wood. Water is everything here. Without it, the earth is dry and brittle, but with it, the soil blooms green. Clay houses sit low along the water, their roofs flat, their walls smooth. Goats bleat softly in the distance. Date palms sway. The city is waking, but it is never hurried. The people of Sumer rise with the sun and sleep with the city of Ur, still and dreaming. Let's walk softly now toward Ur, one of the oldest cities on earth. It is not a roaring metropolis, but a collection of still courtyards and gentle rooftops. Mudbrick walls, the color of sand, carved with quiet cuneiform signs. Messages left by scribes and merchants who have long since faded into memory. Children chase each other through the alleys, giggling gently, their voices echoing off the soft walls. A potter hums while shaping wet clay on his wheel, the same wheel his grandfather used. The wheel turns slowly, like time. Temples rise like ziggurats in the haze, not towering like castles, but steady like hills. Their swasher make odd, their stones warm. Priests in soft linen garments sweep the courtyards in slow circles. They speak to the gods not in cries, but in chants. Whispered verses lost to time. In Ur, even the winds seem to move gently, the sleep of the Sumerians. As night falls, Sumer grows even quieter. Families gather in the open rooftops where the breeze is cooler. They sit cross-legged, eating flatbread and stewed lentils from wide bowls. A mother hums a lullaby as she brushes her daughter's hair. The stars begin to blink in the sky, one by one, soft and ancient. In Sumer, people believed dreams were messages, not interruptions, but gentle gifts from the gods. So they slept in ways to welcome dreams. With soft reed mats and cool linen sheets, sandalwood burned slowly near their beds, and sacred symbols carved into small charms resting beneath their pillows. These charms whispered to the divine world, asking for peaceful sleep, asking for meaning. Their gods had many faces, but none were cruel. Nana, the moon god, was the bringer of dreams. He floated over the bread, beer, and everyday peace. The people of Sumer lived simply, and that was their strength. Bread was made daily in outdoor ovens, thick, chewy loaves that warmed the hands and the heart. They brewed beer, but not the kind you might imagine. It was thick, often sipped through straws from wide jars, flavored with dates and honey. Every home had a jar of fresh beer, not for celebration, but as comfort, as nourishment. Markets were slow and quiet. No loud voices or haggling. Just women trading clay pots for barley, shepherds offering soft wool in exchange for salt, and the scent of roasted onions carried on the breeze. The scribes, the wise ones, sat beneath shady arches and wrote slowly, on soft clay tablets that still carry their marks today. They wrote poems, prayers, laws, and lists, all in the same careful script, like ripples on a pond. Builders of clay and sky. You might imagine giant tools or grand machines, but the cities of Sumer were made by hand, by fingers pressing soft clay, by feet stomping straw into bricks, by workers singing soft songs to mark the rhythm of their labor. No marble, no steel, just earth. Each wall, each arch was shaped with care. Not for glory, but for shelter. They knew that permanence was not the goal. Everything would one day return to dust, like the desert winds, and so they built gently. Temples faced the stars. Doorways were shaped to catch the breeze. Water flowed in gentle channels through the streets. The architecture was humble, but in its simplicity it became timeless. The Sumerians were early stargazers. At night they climbed rooftops or temple steps to watch the sky, not for fear, but for guidance. They mapped the heavens, tracing constellations with their fingers, giving names to the slow paths of the planets. They watched Venus, bright and wandering, Siam, and gave her the name Inanna. She was a goddess of beauty and mystery. Her rise and fall in the sky were like a lullaby. The sky was not a mystery to them, and it was a companion. And when they told stories, they were quiet, circular, soft, never meant to startle, only to remember shepherds and nomads at the edge. Far from the cities, beyond the riverbanks, life moved even slower. Shepherds wandered with their flocks, letting sheep graze on starlit hills. Their lives were spent walking, watching, and whispering to animals. Voices so soft they barely disturbed the air. They built simple shelters of reeds and wool, and cooked by small fires. They shared stories by starlight. Not grand epics, but quiet thoughts. Lessons from their fathers, dreams from their childhoods. Their dogs kept watch. Their sheep slept in clusters. The night stretched long and calm. The nomads did not envy the cities, and the cities did not forget the nomads. They were two halves of one ancient rhythm. When the rivers whispered the rivers, always the rivers. They gave life, they took life, but mostly they gave peace. Children played in the shallows, catching frogs and skipping stones. Elders sat in silence, watching the flow of water over their memories. Women washed linen, singing softly. The rivers were not wild then, they were companions. Silt from the floods made the land fertile. Fishermen cast nets not for wealth, but for supper. Reeds swayed in the current, bending gently, like the people who lived beside them. Even now, if you stand near the riverbanks of Iraq and close your eyes, you might hear them still. The same gentle waters, the same eternal hum.